Hello everyone, good evening, welcome back to Obduction! I am still here where we left off in the last video, which is apparently the back door to Farley's house. And I feel like we can probably get in here. It's a 4-digit code. And, oh gosh, do I have a photo of her address? I do not. Ah, maybe I do. 1436. Ha 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 ha. This might be awesome. 1436. No. 641. Aha! It's backwards because we're entering the back door. Get it? Gosh, that's awful. What an awful, air quotes, puzzle. Yeah. I was lucky. I'm glad I took a picture. I should probably take pictures of just everything, right? This is a cool map. Picture. So there's the mystery water source, the falls, that's CW's area, his shop. There's the battery. I guess that's kind of a portion of CW's shop there. There's the entry canyon. Yep, this is where we teleported in, and then we walked through here, and we got the little teleporter, or the little hologram thing. These green things here, I'm assuming are like, where you warp to through the dome. Alright, so if we walk through the wall here, it'll bring us out down here, I guess? Yeah, on the plateau. Whereas if we go, this was like the weird little like bug hive area at the beginning, and then there were rocks that we zapped there, and we went through there, and then that brings us down here to the scrapyard. So yeah, not bad, not a bad little map. There's the lake, there's the bleeder, so there's, so this one right here I want to get to the lake. It has like the electrical radio tower looking thing on it, on the little island there. And it looks like this connects to up here, which is like up behind the water source at CW's, and I don't know if we've ever made it up there. I don't know if we have any means to get up there since we re-diverted the water. And now the elevator doesn't work. So that's interesting. That's a thing that we can go maybe try to check out. I mean, it also looks like theoretically you could get there from the scrapyard. Like, it doesn't look like there's anything preventing you from getting there, but there's like the dashed line indicating maybe like a tunnel. So maybe like the scrapyard puts you up on this plateau or something. I mean, keep in mind, this is a 2D rendering of a 3D map, so I don't know. Anyway, that's a thing that we can think. Oh, look at that! That is going to be a number in the weird squiggly code thing. Picture! So that'll probably be important at some point. It's like a sideways 15, but it's probably not. What is this? Can we open it? It's a blue book. Wait, I want to open the blue book. Come back. Why can I not open? Oh, we can look at all the things. Oh gosh. Species description. Mofang. Through quote-unquote ambassador seeds, the Mofang were the first non-human species humans were introduced to. An Liang was the first to call the alien a Mofang, impressed with their advanced ability to imitate our sounds, movements, and mannerisms. Although they have a name for themselves, their language is mostly unpronounceable by humans. As a result, and because of their mimicry abilities, communication with the Mofang is primarily accomplished by their learning human languages rather than humans learning to speak Mofang. They have been able to learn almost every human language represented in Hunrath, enough to provide functional, if rudimentary, communication. The Mofang basic external morphology is remarkably humanoid. Bilateral symmetrical tetrapods, bipedal, heads with anterior facial features, aka mouth, eyes, and nostrils. Other external features include minimal body hair and raised dorsal protrusions. Constitution is somewhat frail, due apparently to their thin and lightweight internal structure, but internal investigation has not been possible. They have ample cranial space to account for a substantial brain. That's kind of cool. And their intelligence is impressive, as evidenced by their advanced technology. Hey! It's like a XCOM 2 sectoid. Kind of. Ish. Close enough. So the RI, after a certain level of maturity and health of the tree, a passage opened at its base. Ooh, this is actually really interesting. This passage allowed contact with 2 additional species. The first contact was with the RI. The first contact revealed the RI to be large, beetle-like insects. Oh, I bet you those are the things we've been seeing flying around all over the place outside. We were unable to communicate directly with them in any way, but they appeared to have some rudimentary level of intelligence. It was Lorenk Toth who first made the journey through the heart to Kaptar and named both the New World and the inhabitants. Boy, I'm getting a very Riven vibe from everything that's happening right now. The RI have 3 distinct variants that have come to be referred to as Barnacle, Beetle, and Polyarch. Although their morphology is dramatically different from human, their internal systems, like all of our neighbors, are supported by similar atmospheric composition and basic nutrients. Good grief, there's a lot of stuff here. I'm glad that Farley or whoever wrote this put little arrows down in the corners so I know to keep going. In their barnacle stage, the RI are completely immobile. The RI stay in this egg-like development state seemingly indefinitely. In order to hatch, they must be in proximity of a polyarch and fertilized by the beetles after a certain stage of maturity. The beetles are the quote-unquote eyes and ears, hands and feet. With only a minimal nervous system of their own, they are essentially the sensory extensions of the immobile polyarchs. They are unable to execute, or they are able to execute simple commands, but apparently have very little in the way of an individual sentience. So they're like drone bees or ants or something, like any sort of general insect hive that we would know on Earth. They're individual units, but they're basically an extension of the hive, the thing that is kind of issuing the orders. Yeah, it's you guys. I've seen you on like houses and rocks and flying around, and every now and then something will bzzz, and I'll hear it in like one of my headphones, and I'll turn and look that way, and probably be too late to see you flying away. But I know what you are. The RI polyarchs are the intelligence and consciousness of the species. Although it was obvious that there was intelligence behind the species, it wasn't until Caroline Farley began spending large amounts of time in close proximity that deeper communication began. So I'm assuming that Farley is not the person who wrote this. I don't know why Caroline Farley would refer to herself in the third person if she was writing this. So there's that. With a room nearby, Farley was the first to communicate non-verbally and learn much about the species, including some historical information. The RI species survived in their world while several other sentient species came and went. Among them, an ancient species who formed a deeper relationship with the RI, carving temples and dwellings for them in the rocks. So I'm pausing right there. The barnacle stage, something carving dwellings for these bugs within the rocks. This is making me think of the giant sphere that we can rotate. It's got like a little motorcycle thing under it. but it's like a big old sphere, and it's kind of carved open. There's stairs and stuff, and there's like weird little like oyster egg things that I've commented on in there. I bet you those are the RI barnacles, and I bet you that this is one of the rock things that was carved by this other species. So that's just my thought. Where are we at? Carving dwellings for them in the rocks. And later, a more recent species that took over much of their homeworld. This latter species was especially adept at mechanical construction, using it mostly to capture and process large flying creatures, using the beetles as bait. That's awful. Also, the arrows have a different style on every page, and that has been kind of bugging me. Just as a fun little OCD thing, if I were writing a notebook and I were drawing arrows in the corner indicating that there's more, because of course I would just indicate that rather than, you know, let you flip the freaking page and see if there's more. I don't think I would use a different arrow on every page. I think that would drive me nuts. I think this is actually driving me nuts. There's this arrow, which is like a triangle with a stick. And there's this one, but the triangle... why would you do that? So this, I'm assuming, is the polyarch. I'm assuming we're going to bump into one of those at some point. And maybe the other one that was at the beginning. Anyway, the Villian. The final species to be discovered were the Villian. The Villian had been communicating with the RI for many years through the ambassador seeds, but became part of the larger community very shortly after the RI. With a large and imposing frame, and a form of communication based on a complex, multi-voiced, low-frequency rumble, the initial introductions were intimidating. After several attempts, Amelie Vidal was able to begin some rudimentary communication and began visiting the Villian in Mare, which she named, on a regular basis. She discovered a complex and amazing society that was able to use their technology in unexpected ways. They had the ability to quickly transform their world using extruded structures based on some form of complex miniature substrate material. And we have a completely other different new arrow in the corner, and oh my gosh, what's with all the arrows? Unlike the other worlds, the Villian sphere is scooped out of a Villian resettlement group that was preparing to set off to space to find a new homeworld. Oh, unlike the other worlds, their sphere. So this means like this is like the human sphere. So I wonder if each of these different alien species has their own sphere wherever we are. Their own little like dome bubble, which is just like random chunks of their land kind of haphazardly plopped into it. That's actually really cool. That's actually really cool. I like that idea a lot. So they were preparing to find a new homeworld. This was their way of life, to put themselves into stasis and scatter themselves through the stars. As mentioned previously, their appearance is imposing, standing about 9 feet tall, with a distinct reptilian resemblance. They have 6 limbs, 2 muscular legs and arms, and a smaller set of arms. They control every aspect of their technology with their vocalizations, but over the years they have created control panels based on their number system that allow other species to more easily, to easier access, I don't like that phrase, to easier access, elements of their technology. So grammar aside, so that's the sphere, that's the like rotated diamond with like a sideways 15 that we just saw. That's the thing that's in the garage. Those are the Villian like number system, which I will, honest to goodness, probably dedicate a single very short video to me trying to learn and take notes of their number system. Gosh, that is a very Riven thing. That is so that welcome to Disney's. That's so Riven. But not yet. Not until it seems like we actually need that. So that the one in the garage is like a training thing. I think we read like notes or something indicating that. So when we run into an actual control panel where we actually need to enter actual numbers for realsies, that's probably when I'll come back and focus on learning the number system that this is talking about. Oh yeah, they're big old blobby things. Oh, that's cool. They got like the tiny little arms wrapped around the waist. And they have 2 toes on either foot. And they've got 3 fingers and a thumb, it looks like, on their big hands. Big old jaws. Oh, and that's the end. There's no more arrow. Oh, that's cool. So we learned about all the different alien species. Oh my gosh, there's so many things here. Oh my gosh. I'm tilting my head. You can't see it, but I'm tilting my head so I can read this. The entire landscape outside of our circle of desert could only be described as alien. Large floating rocks could be seen in the distance. No one had ever seen anything like it anywhere on Earth. We fully explored our new surroundings, hoping to find a way home. No way home was ever found. In fact, we soon discovered what we take for granted now. Not only could we not get back home, we also could not access the landscape outside of the desert. Curiously, we discovered that a flow of water was provided from a high point of rock, and we discovered a small tree growing in the very center of the circle. Our central tree, that is so important to our lives here, was just a mere sapling back then. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, look at that. It stayed on the page that we flipped it to. That's actually really cool. So the tree is actually in the middle of everything, isn't it? Me being a person who has literally absolutely no concept of any sense of direction, I had not actually put that together that the tree was in the middle of everything. Also, look at this. I just noticed this. This is Farley's. This is like the wall. This is like the back door that we came through, like little tunnel back door, Farley's. There's like an offshoot here. Right there. Look at that. Can we open the door? Oh, welcome. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, look at that. People sitting on the train tracks. What does it say? Something, something, something. It has words written around it. I don't care. I don't understand. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. We have easy access here. I'm happy with that. Yeah, see, here's the tunnel. So there's like there's like a secret side path here. Oh yeah, right there. Okay, we'll check that out in a moment. I'm so easily distracted. I just want to... Oh gosh, you have like a projector? Oh my gosh, please don't tell me we can read all the books in here too. No? Okay, good. Good. Holy crap. There's so much things, so many stuff. Okay, so we read this one. What's this one say? I shall document the curious events that have transpired with myself, my family, friends, and coworkers. Hartnell was a peaceful mining town founded by my grandfather and nestled within the red rock of the desert in the Arizona Territory. Its 163 inhabitants, that's not bad, heard a mighty explosion in the night of June 27th, 1903. Holy crap. This has been here for a while. I sent several workers through the town to verify that the explosion had not caused any injuries or damage to mining equipment. They returned and reported that it must have been a loud clap of thunder caused by dry lightning, for they found no damage. It was not until the light of the next morning that we were amazed to realize something profound had indeed occurred. At some point during that night, our entire mining facility and a large circle of the land around it seemed to have been scooped up and carried off to a completely different place, all without anyone knowing about it. So these are super duper old letters because they've been here, like they were written in 1903. I'm actually amazed that they're still legible and that we can touch them without them disintegrating. And we can't actually like open this or anything, can we? I really want to like open you. Why can't I open you? Why can't I see what's going on in you? Please? Hey, there it is. I just had to click in the right spot. Seed information. Yeah, so this is the, I guess we're calling it the ambassador seed that like teleports people here. Oh gosh, so many words to read. Ambassador seeds. Ambassador seeds were first documented about 150 Earth years ago. They occur about once every 400 days, so a little over a year, if the trees remain healthy. So it's probably the tree in the middle of everything. Natural seed swaps occur between pairs of seeds that we now know dropped simultaneously from healthy trees in the paired sphere. When each seed was touched by the species within their sphere, the swap occurred, sending an ambassador from each sphere to the paired sphere. So the tree would drop... So, like, we would have a tree, and the creepy, four-armed, giant, 9-foot-tall aliens with the number system, their tree would have a thing... It would have a seed plop. And if their seed and our seed fell at the same time, when either species, either bubble, either tree, dome, had a person go like touch the seed, those two people would swap places, it sounds like. Yeah, sending an ambassador from each sphere to the paired sphere. Interesting. Location of the swap is defined by the locations of the pairs of seeds. Yeah, so you'd just teleport to where the seed was in the other dome. After the first swap, the seeds recharged quickly, allowing for a quick return. Oh, that's kind of cool. These quote-unquote first meetings were intense but naturally short. It was quite a surprise for both the Mofang and us. Okay, good. So it was the Mofang first. Over time, the seeds required more time to recharge, producing longer visits between species. Huh, that's interesting. And then there's the collector seed. So this is probably what grabbed us and swooped us over here, just judging by the fact that it's the same sort of seed, same sort of seed, but with a different name. Speed seed. Everyone who arrives is familiar with the collector seeds. Yep, there it is right there. The bright light that we were all drawn to right before the event that brought us here is a collector seed. What new arrivers may not be aware of is that these seeds, like all seeds, come in pairs. When the tree drops a collector seed on the ground, it signals that its twin has begun a quest for a new being. That search may take hours or it may take years. When an appropriate situation, unnatural threat of death, question mark? When an appropriate situation is found, the seed activates and swaps a smaller, but varying sized sphere from Earth, whatever appropriate homeworld, here to Hunrath. As Hunrath became more populated, we would watch for a newly dropped collector seed. We would collect it and place it in the entry canyon area. This allowed us to provide a more predictable entry experience for new arrivers and provide a single area to collect any resources that may have come along with a new arriver. Oh, so it's the same. It is literally the exact same as the ambassador seed, except that rather than being two different trees in two different like bubbles, it's a seed in one bubble and then a seed like on another planet somewhere else in the galaxy, maybe in a different time. I don't really know. And so that's what grabbed us here. So that's why when we got snatched, there was the seed on the ground, and that seed on the ground was like the pair of the one that grabbed us. And then the weird like tiny bit of campsite around us, there's like a picnic table with a lantern and like a fire thing and some trees, and that is like the bubble around us that was snatched when the collector seed grabbed us. Interesting. That's pretty cool. What else we got? Oh, good gosh. Unlike ambassador seeds and mother seeds, question mark, collector seeds do not seem to survive. The inner core is spent, leaving only the lifeless outer husk. Mother seeds, postulated but unverified. Huh. First suggested by Alima Hamza in 2232 BH, whatever the hell that means, the notation of mother seeds extrapolates the behavior of the lesser seeds to a superseed. She posited that the process that actually, quote-unquote, created the paired spheres was similar to all other swaps, but on a much grander scale. The idea is that two seeds, maybe from a mother tree, I guess, were scattered on the galactic winds to, quote-unquote, find appropriately similar environments. When matches were found, some process was triggered that swapped large portions of landscape, like the entire mining village and desert chunk that we're in, between vastly different worlds. Alima further noted that the trees' locations in the center of the spheres suggested that the trees grew from these mother seeds. So it makes sense, right? If a seed will grab a person and then, like, swap a small bubble around that person with a small area here on this planet, why wouldn't a bigger seed do the exact same thing? And so that bigger seed is probably responsible for example, our entire dome that we're trapped within, with like the mining town and stuff. And then the Hunrath presumably have their own like small village or city or whatever that is in a similar bubble. And then that seed, so like when the seed grabbed me, it died. It was like, whoop, I'm done. And we saw like the burnt out dead seed on the ground. But when the giant seed grabs the giant entire area, it grows into a tree. That's cool. I like that. I like that all three of these seem to be the same thing, but just like on different scales. That's interesting. I like that. I like it a lot. This is a very Myst-driven sort of thing. Because of the similarities, it has been conjectured that re-swapping the entire environmental spheres might be possible with a larger scale version of the Ambassador Seed machine. Oh, you built like a teleport machine? Like you built a machine to... it would make sense, right? That's why everyone is gone. They all went to war with like the Hunrath or whatever it is that they've been saying. I don't know. I've destroyed all the holograms at this point. It makes sense that they built a machine that would mimic that. That's kind of cool. Can we... Nothing? That's it? That's it. That's all we got. Mother seeds, they're the end. Huh. That's really cool. I like that. Oh my gosh, I got so much more reading to do. Okay, take note of the arrow. We're going to have a different one on the next page. Communication! Talking with our neighbors. We take communication for granted, even within the varied languages we find here on Hunrath. But when we suddenly find ourselves among other intelligent species who don't share our culture, history, DNA, or vocal cords, that's actually a good point, rarely brought up in sci-fi, it requires a huge amount of effort for the beginning of rudimentary chatting. Sure, this quick overview will set the stage for what we expect when communicating with our neighbors. Mofang! We have a different arrow. What did that tell you? The Mofang were the first non-humans that we met. With at least some level of similar physical, vocal generating abilities, they picked up human words quickly. This early mimicry resulted in what the species came to be called. Even though they were able to mimic single words and simple phrases, it became evident over the years that huge grammatical differences were not easily overcome. Some have proposed that the difficulty may have arisen because the Mofang insisted on attempting to learn every human language, and as a result, were never able to lock onto any consistent grammatical structure. That's actually a good point. Human languages kind of all over the place. Nevertheless, in spite of the rudimentary sentence construction, it has been very easy to communicate, and it has been unnecessary for us to learn their language beyond a few simple phrases and proper names. If you'd like to learn more about communication with the Mofang, please contact Tan. We have another different arrow. Rah! The Villian. The Villian have presented a particular communication challenge. From what we can gather, they produce sounds using two large reed-like structures inside opposite sides of their heads. The vibrations generated are channeled to resonance chambers in their skulls, where they're combined into a complex low-frequency dual tone. The low-frequency bitonal sounds are not only hard for humans to hear and resolve, but impossible for us to mimic. And the Villians' hearing is also oriented towards low frequency, so they're unable to hear most of the sounds associated with human speech. Therefore, communication with the Villian has relied on technology. They have adapted consoles, which the Villian fluently control with vocalization, for use by other species. Over the years, some individuals of other species, including a few humans, have learned to communicate very effectively using this method. Humans have been able to pick out some higher frequency characteristics of certain key Villian words over the years. And although we can't speak to them in a way that the Villians can understand, we are occasionally able to hear and recognize these words when spoken distinctly by the Villian. If you'd like to learn more about communication with the Villian, please contact Vito. And then the RI. None of the stages of the RI morphology have any vocalization apparatus, because they're bugs. Because of the obvious synchronization of the quote-unquote barnacle flash and the ability of the quote-unquote pawns, which I guess would be like the drones that we have seen them flying around. The beetles, I guess they were called previously. Because the obvious synchronization of the barnacle flash and the ability of the pawns to provide for and address the needs of the polyarchs, it was assumed that the species could communicate effectively. It was not until Farley began to spend large amounts of time in the polyarch antechamber that the first clues to this communication became evident. After months of research, Farley began to have limited success with quote-unquote receiving some kind of simple quote-unquote messages that were coming from the polyarchs. It is apparently now that words. Let's try that again. It is apparent now that the polyarchs had been attempting to communicate the entire time, but they themselves had been experimenting with various channels until they finally got a response from Farley. After this breakthrough, others were able to, I guess, tune in to the polyarchs and learn to listen. Both the polyarchs and the pawns have a simple organ that can sense human vocal frequency, enabling them to sense simple responses from humans. But over the years, Farley was able to learn to, I guess, speak to polyarchs via a related form of extrasensory transmission. So talk to Farley if you want to know anything about any of that. That's cool. I like how fleshed out these bugs, these other species are, the aliens. Can we do anything else here? No. Can we? Are you drawers? You're not drawers. It might be drawers. Can't do anything with you. There's a projector. We'll come back to you in a moment. Oh, good grief. More words. More words. Oh, and you're like faded type. I'm going to get all squinty here, and you can't see it. Welcome to Hunrath. Please give us a bit of information about you so we can get to know you a little better. Name. Date you came from. Please use the 4-digit year. So that implies that maybe the seeds travel through time, or this place, time is different. I kind of like that. Where you came from, country and city, circumstance under which you were taken, please note any danger you noticed. Emptied and filed. 12,000 AH, 13 and 15,000. Oh gosh, and then this is all the people over here. Samuel Karen, January 2017. Hey, that's just a couple months from now when I'm recording this. It'll probably be in the past for those of you in the future who are watching this. That's kind of fun. From Mamakara, Madagascar. I had just arrived and was driving my supply truck along the coast south of Manakara, when I recall being washed away and the seed appeared. 15,257 AH, male 61. I don't get the AH part. I don't get this. The last line, I don't understand. I don't understand. Uziel Regenbogen, 1942, March, Lübeck, Germany. The last thing I recall was a large rumbling while I was hiding in the cellar of a vacant building. I ran toward a bright light in the stairwell. 26 years old. Okay, good. There aren't too many more of these. I was worried that this was going to be like Kickstarter backers and there were going to be like 100 of them or something, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to read all those. Oh, what was his year? 1942. So yeah, it is just yanking people out of time and space and putting them here. That's interesting. Maria Gallego? Gallego? 9, what month is that? September of 1988? Sure, we'll go with that. Cozumel, Mexico. On my boat and bad storm. 46-year-old female. Don't know what the AH is. I'm assuming that's like the year here after Hunrath, before Hunrath. AH and BH. Have they really been here for 16,000 years? That seems kind of ridiculous. And then the last person was from March of 2014. Portland. Skiing at Mount Hood. Oh, that's fun. Okay, all right. I'm so done with reading things, but I feel like there's so many more things to read. Oh, I like the stuffed bear. Koala? You like a koala bear? I'm weirded out by the fact that it's letting me pick you up and like rotate you and interact with you, and I don't understand. Oh, tape recorder. Why am I taking the tape? I don't understand. Oh, I'm turning it around.
We all lost everything. Everything but our stories. And they shouldn't be forgotten. I was 3. It was April of 1983. Cecil, it was 1870 for you. Sam and Vera, you tell it like it was yesterday, but it's been 62 years since you saw that.
This is from the opening. This is what we heard that was being played while I was walking around looking at the light before we got yanked here to Hunrath.
Blast of light.
I'm not going to listen to that whole thing. There might be something new and different there, and I encourage you to listen to the whole thing on your own playthrough, because you're totally going to do that, right? 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 My brother, small and nice, sings constantly, as noisy as a rock concert. If only he would be quiet. That sounds about right. What happens at fruition? Swapware home? When? May be dead. More seed pairs. Scattered throughout the universe? Why scattering? I don't understand all of these questions. Heart connected. Path open when mature. Heart superstition. 4 species meet. 1, seed pair. 2, find planets with similar atmospheres. 3, swap. 4, tree from seed. So like Earth, and then Soria with the Mofang. So like a seed on either of them, and it was just like shoo bloop bloop bloop, and then this tree, and then below the tree there's a heart. So I'm assuming that we have a heart, whatever the hell that means, under our tree here in Mofang. Or here in Hunrath, I guess. Gosh, all these new words. Heart Heart connected, path open when mature. So, oh, that would actually make sense that the heart, because they mentioned that they went below the tree, and then that's like where they started encountering the bugs. So there's like us, there's the Mofangs, and then whichever is whichever. One is like the Villian, and the other one is the bugs. The RI. There we go. I remember their name. And it looks like there's like a portal under the tree that links to each of the different worlds. So I'm assuming eventually at some point in kind of a Myst or Riven-like fashion, we're going to be going to these other places. Good grief, this game suddenly just got a lot bigger in my brain. But that's cool. I like that. Oops, picture. I don't know what else we want to do here. Oh, I do know what we want to do here. Oh, so many things. What are you? That's lovely. Picture. So I got a picture of that. So there's the big old circle around everything. That's fine. Are any of the words changing? It doesn't look like it. Like the bleeder in the lake. Bleeder in the lake. But there's a circle here, like behind the tree. This seems kind of actually super important because that seems to be the point of this entire thing. Is there anything else I can like do? Oh, ho, ho, ho. There is a thing. Ah, ba da ba da. Oh gosh. That's the number system. That's like the control panel of the number thing. Oh, I don't like any of this. Oh, game, you're giving me clues for things that I don't understand yet. Okay, let's go check it over this way. I know this has gone on for a super duper crazy long time. We're just gonna go down here and see what's over here, and then I'm gonna call it quits. You know, I got a lot of reading done. Oh good, it's another one of those like giant rock spheres. This is a thing. This is 120% a thing, right? We're absolutely gonna be doing something with these. Oh, you know what? They're perfect spheres. I bet you they were grabbed by the ambassador seeds. There's the one there. There's the one that they've put the motorcycle on over here. And then there's the one in the mine. I'm not going to go that way. We're going to go this way. There's the one in the mine over here. I'd be willing to bet that's where the first couple of ambassador seeds grabbed people from the other areas. Or maybe maybe they were new arrivals. No, it doesn't make sense that they'd be new arrivals because they're all the same. We have 3 of them. So it makes sense to me that these would be like, yeah, right here. So like an ambassador seed plopped a Mofang over here. Or oh, the RI, I guess, because the other one has barnacles on it, but maybe the barnacles came later. So I don't know, but like this, it was snatched. This is where an ambassador seed traded places between this area and the other area. So there's this big old hollow dome that we're in, and then there's this weird other alien landscape that doesn't make sense to be here. That makes sense! Kind of. I still have absolutely no idea what to do next. Yeah, Farley's was about all I got. I don't know. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what we want to do next. What do I want to do next? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out in the next video. We will find something. We can go investigate the thing. We can draw a slightly sideways 15 on the control panel and see if that does anything. My understanding is that it's only for training purposes, so it probably won't do anything. We can go check it out. We can try to get through the tunnel here to the bleeder, which means we gotta find our way up there, so that's the thing we can go check out. So we got a couple of options. I don't actually know what's gonna pan out for us. I don't have any great expectations or anything, but we'll figure it out. Thank you for joining me. Hope you've been enjoying Obduction so far. And may the grace of the Twilight Dragon be with you.